guess, hang on, probably gotta wait for people. Kind of dumb
Yeah,
to
I
do
was gonna say we could
we gotta actually start
sit
it
here and
in
wait for
a couple minutes, see if we can
yeah.
see how many people we
It's
can get
gonna be
into.
awkward for the people who are watching the playback though.
Well, maybe they ain't gotta worry
Well,
about the
the
playback.
people,
They don't gotta
yeah, the
worry
people
about it.
watching the playback just to know that we're waiting for the notification so we can post the link in the chat.
Yeah. Hmm.
All right, it's up. I'll post it.
Oh, why was that? Why was that taking so long to pop up? That was so weird. Do I need to post it, or you got it?
No, I got it.
Okay. For those that have already joined in, thank you. Oh, they're awesome.
Let me know when we have enough people to kind of get started.
I will. Once it actually got to give everybody at least a minute or two.
Well, let's talk about this for now then. Without knowing who is in the top 5 or top 10, what teams do you think are going early?
Early, and we're talking. Are we going top 5 or top 10? Like
Yeah,
top.
just your top whatever top 5 teams you think are gonna go.
Um, Based on this year's draft and free agency and everything else, this isn't in any specific order. That's a little harder to go into, and I'd have to give reasons why. But well, if we go top 5, it's gonna be the Ravens, just because of Lamar Jackson having, and then some speed on the wide receiver
Yeah.
core and everything. The Chiefs are definitely going in the top 5, even with their cap situation. That's still one of the best teams. You just have to kind of hope for the best on defense and try to help that defense out. Um, Seahawks. That is, you have three X factors and everything else. You have Bobby Russell,
Yeah.
and now Jamal Adams, and then you still have some decent pieces like Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Chris Carson on that team. And the other two, this is where it kind of gets tricky because I can tell you a top 3. The other two, um, like I could say the. I'm not sure, man. Maybe the
There's
Cowboys just because of
yeah, there's a few teams who I
some
think are top
stacked.
10 potential, but it's hard to say who like the specific top 5 is.
Like yeah,
Like
like I said,
I can see the
top
Cardinals
3
going early this year because
DeAndre.
they had a pretty good off season.
Yeah, and
Got
then
Simmons.
Simmons, and then Kyler Murray, and still have Larry
Yeah.
Fitzgerald over there. You still have you have some pieces over there. I would say the
All right.
Cowboys, if we're going top 10, Cowboys, Eagles, Cardinals, Panthers, just there's some pieces there you got to build, but those are just some of the teams. But all right, let's get into this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to A&L Live. And welcome back to the first episode of Combo Leagues podcast going into Madden 21. I, of course, am Avengers, and next to me, of course, is Lima.
What's up, guys? It's great to be back.
As you,
We've been
we've been slacking. We've been slacking.
yeah, we were slacking like the last 2 Maddens, maybe even 3 Maddens.
2, because
But
we did it in 18. We did it most of 18. It's just,
yeah, but
last 2.
we're gonna get back into it this year. We got actual schedule that we're gonna set up and stick to it. Maybe not a podcast every single week, but every other week possibly. And then some other ones quarterly to update like stats and stuff like that. But we're definitely gonna have a schedule set up and actually stick to it this year.
But of course, we welcome back everybody who is an OG here and has known about this and everything, we welcome y'all back. And for all you new people, we hope y'all do stay. We hope y'all do watch these. It's great to be back. It's glad to see so many people wanting this back too.
Well, all right. Well, everyone's waiting for it, so let's get into it. Before we actually start this, I do just want to remind everyone that it's the majority of the picks are not random. There was a calculation I did based off of the original Combo League that included like playoffs, playoff wins, Super Bowl wins, how active you were, stuff like that. Hang on just a sec.
We're having some technical difficulties with Lima over here.
Yeah, so I think there were 21 people in the league now who were in the original combo. So the first 21 picks was a set order based off of how you rated in that equation that I did. Now, before we even release any of that, I will say if you guys want to see that, I can release that in the chat to everyone. If you want me to, I'll do more explaining on that. But so since there were 21 people, the 22nd to 32 was all randomized. So the first 21 people is based off that order, and then the 22 through 32 are all of our new users who might have been with us through the year last year, but were not in the original combo. So,
That doesn't mean we hate you guys. Doesn't mean we hate you. Just means, didn't have you at the very
yeah.
beginning through the first 4 or so seasons.
And it does kind of suck knowing that you have a late or pick. But I think with this Madden, and we can all probably agree that there's a lot of teams who are going to slide late who actually will be a good roster to build.
This year, I feel like every team has great potential and has some great talent. I do.
Yeah, I agree.
Before we
All right,
start,
so
what's up to Jeremy Clark? How you doing, Caleb? Fantastic. Hope y'all are all doing. Mike Bell. I hope y'all are all doing well. I hope y'all are sticking around for this entire thing. But I guess it's time to get into it, huh?
yeah, all right. So I think we're gonna go through the top 10, top 15, and on the podcast, and then we'll still talk about the rest on the podcast, but we'll release the list on Twitter at that point.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it. All right, so starting right at the top, the number one pick is going to Get Your Game Up.
Deserves it. Played really, really well during combo leagues for first 4 seasons.
Yeah, he did win one Super Bowl, but the main thing for him was he made the playoffs every year. He won his division every year except for the first year he was in the league. He actually took a team over. He took the Bucks over, and they were actually already on their way to the playoffs. So that year didn't really count as much for him. But the other years, he made the playoffs every year, won his division almost, I think, every year. Won a lot of playoff games, made a Twitter, so he got points for that. Was active in the chat, so he got points for that. All right. And then
Our second pick, guys, is going to the owner of the league, Lima _ 82. This man right here won his division every year. Even, what was it, 8-8 season? You still won your division?
Yep, I made it at 8-8 in that same year.
Went to 2 Super Bowls. Kind of sucks you lost them, but you still made it to 2 of them.
So it is based off the list. I was a little surprised too that I got in over some other Super Bowl winners higher, but the main reason is because I won my division every single year, won a lot of playoff games throughout the whole league, made it to 2 Super Bowls even though I lost them both, had a Twitter, was really active in the chat, so that's where all those points came from.
Yep.
Alright, so number 3 on our list is KO.
Ooh. Year 2 Super Bowl winner. Year
Yeah,
2
if
Super Bowl winner. Right there.
he was in a tougher division, which probably hurt his pick a little bit. He could have been 2, maybe even 1, if he didn't have the old Giants user in his division.
Yeah.
And they
Who
were,
won the first Super Bowl?
yeah, they were a powerhouse division.
Oh, I know. I lost a lot of games because of that. I gotta give
All
credit
right,
where
so
credit's due, though.
number 4 on our list is Rel Lewis. A lot of people might actually think this is a surprise, but he's up here because he did win his division. I think every year, won a few playoff games. I think he did make a Twitter last year. He was fairly active in the chat, wasn't as active as some other people. But the main thing is winning his division every year and winning playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
And at number 5, we go down to Trey Crisp, who is also another Super Bowl winner. I think it was, I want to say year 3
3?
or 4.
Anyway, he was the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
I think he was 4.
Get
I
Your
think
Game
he
Up.
won
Yeah,
4.
I think Get Your Game Up won at year 3, and he won at year 4.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that got him up there. He, I think, won his division 2 of the 4 years. Could be wrong. But
Fairly active in chat, too.
yeah.
Fairly active in chat.
All right, so now we got number 6 up here. Oh, he did say in the chat year 3.
Year 3. Thank you, Chris. Thank you for letting us know that.
All right, so next up we got pick number 6, and that goes to the cheeser himself, Mr. Ungwe. He didn't win any Super Bowls, but he did win his division, I think, 2 years. He won a few playoff games, so that got him up there. He was really active in the chat, had a league Twitter.
Active, man. Talk about 20 messages in a row. Mr. Message himself.
Sends 20 messages just to send out one sentence.
Number 7, we got Watch Your Lips.
A.K.A. Caleb.
Caleb, how you doing? But,
he...
just a great player.
Caleb
a lot
was...
of these people.
Yeah, I think he won his division, I want to say, because he was with Ungwe and Jimmy Doe. I think Caleb won it 1 year. I don't remember which year it was. I think it was either year 2 or 3. Because Jimmy Doe won it like year 4, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and then he had a few playoff wins. He had a league Twitter, was pretty active in the chat. And then, so we are kind of getting down to the teams who, like, still won their division a year or two, but didn't quite didn't have Super Bowl success or make it that far. But next on the list here, we got number 8. It actually is Jimmy Doe, guy we were just talking about. He won his division, I think, 1 of the 4 years. It was in year 4. I think that year he made it to the conference championship game, I want to say.
Gave Chris the Super Bowl lateral fumble 6 up 3 scores.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. Yeah, everyone was, like, wondering what he was doing. Yeah, that was a
It's a weird one.
Weird game.
Yeah.
But alright, so we had Jimmy Doe at number 8. Next on the Next on the list is number 9, So Clutch, who's aka Brendan Henderson. He was in there. I think there was a little bit of time where he had to leave, but he was still in there majority of the first original league. He made the playoffs a few times. I remember he had Jordan in his division, and Jordan, like that, the year where Jordan got all those good players, and he was running that press man blitz that everyone else was running, and like just a lot of people couldn't figure out how to get by it because he had a lot of X factors and stuff who could just get through. But So Clutch in his division was able to beat him pretty much every time he played him. And I remember there was a year, I want to say it was year 3 or 4, when he wasn't in the league and he actually came back into the league, took his old team back, beat Jordan to get into the playoffs, beat Jordan out. That was a funny year.
Oh yeah.
So, next on the list, we got number 10 here. And, where was I at? Give me a second here. So next on the list at number 10, we've got Dalvin. I call him Dalvin because that's what his name used to be, but I still don't know how to pronounce this. I'm going to give it a shot. Bodorowski. I still don't know how to pronounce this. I never even asked.
Oh.
But yeah, I still call him Dalvin.
What up, Dalvin? Made it to number 10.
Yep, he was another. He made the playoffs. I want to say he only made it once, maybe twice. He actually had a decent team he was starting to build up because I remember he got that wide receiver who was, I can't remember exactly. I think he was like really fast. But I remember that was like year 3 or 4. He was starting to build his team up really well, and he made the playoffs in one of those 2 years. All right, moving down, we got number 11 on the list is Prophet. He was another one. He was in a really hard division. He didn't make the playoffs. I think he only made the playoffs like 1 year, maybe 2 years. But he was in a really tough division. He had a good team, though. I don't know why he kept complaining that he didn't, but he did have a good team. He was pretty active in the chat. He had a Twitter. So, I mean, a lot of the guys that are up here had Twitter accounts. There weren't that many people who didn't have Twitter. We'll talk about that in a little bit, what that's going to do this year. But, alright, so moving on for Prophet. Next on the list, number 12, we have Chavis Ross. I think he was the Rams user in the original Combo League.
Mm-hmm.
He actually was pretty decent too. I remember he was really good at running the ball, which a lot of people were. But I remember he did pretty good with Todd Gurley. Alright, so next on the list here, number 13 is Avengers, who's sitting here with me.
Lucky number 13, guys. I just suck. That's why I'm so low.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's actually... Yeah.
KO and that Giants user.
Yeah, a lot of the... From here to, like, through pick 21 were the players who were either not in the full Combo League, they were there maybe like a year or two, or they were there but didn't really have a lot of success, or didn't talk in the chat a lot. Maybe they even won games, but they just never talked in the chat.
Here.
So, yeah.
I ain't even gonna lie.
Which actually it does kind of suck the way that I did this formula. It actually does suck because you can be based off the way I did it. There's really no difference between being 9-7 every year, barely missing the playoffs, and being 3-13 every year and never even making it close to the playoffs. Yeah. Because it was weighted heavily towards playoff wins, division wins, obviously Super Bowl wins. It wasn't really there was no benefit for the people who just did average it to slightly above average every year and just barely missed. So there are some people who did average coming up but just never made the playoffs. So, like I said, unfortunately, they just couldn't have been higher. So number 14 on the list here is Ash. Ash has been with us since since the beginning of our first combo.
Back in 17.
Yeah. Ash was one of those users I was talking about that did pretty slightly above average every year, like 9-7, 8-8, but just couldn't make the playoffs, so didn't get enough points to get higher up on the list. Ash wasn't a bad player. Ash definitely gave a good game to even good opponents every time they played. Mm-hmm. But so next on the list here we got 15, Jay Clark. Jake
our
Clark
boy.
was, yeah, he's gonna get up there this year. He's gonna win his division one of the few. I'm telling you, he's gonna win his
Oh yeah,
division one of the years this year.
I believe in him. He's got some skill there. He just needs to use it more.
Yep. And then, all right. So since we're at 15 here, I'm gonna pause, take a little break. I'm gonna release the official list on Twitter here.
That's what we're. Let's see if I can do this while that's going on. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to. I might have to. I think I might. Let's see. Shit.
All right. Sorry for the silence. I'm just posting this here to Twitter.
Give everybody a chance to see if I can do this. I don't know if I'm going to. Might have to switch what I'm doing. Oh no, I can do it right there. Okay. Hopefully this works. I'm not like too sure. Boom. I don't know if that worked, but I just put the A&L Live official Twitter and the Combo League main Twitter into the description. If y'all haven't followed or you're not doing the Twitter thing, you can click on the link and be able to go over there and see it. I would say to do the Twitter thing, uh, just not only because it helps y'all next year, man, the next Madden, but just because it helps us put the league out there and make Combo become a more well-known league.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Is like we understand that doing a Twitter account is a little extra. You know, a lot of people do want to just play the game, maybe play this league game, move on to the next league game, and just get through it. Which I get that, I do.
Yeah.
But well, we're trying to grow the league. We're trying to make it fun for our users, even though you might not think posting about your game is fun. But a lot of people are actually into that stuff, looking to see through posts like that and seeing who did good for what team and stuff like that. And in the long run, it'll actually help us remember who players are. Because like you say, if we want this league to go all Madden, you get to like year 5, year 6, you got a lot of the regular players who were used to either retired or regressed so hard that they're not even seeing the field, and you got all these players who you drafted in year 1, year 2, year 3 who are hitting
Yeah.
the field. And since they're auto-generated players, none of us are going to know who they are unless we're talking about them. Like if you constantly post about your good auto-generated rookies on Twitter in the chat, then we're going to start to know who they are.
And with the podcast that we're doing, and let's say your game of the week or you did something that we want to talk about, then we put the names out there. We put, you know, y'all's name, y'all's players, and how well y'all are doing, which
Yeah,
then puts them
exactly.
out there. And then, it makes it more, I think, gets everybody involved. Like y'all right now are in the chat, y'all are talking, we're trying to talk to y'all while doing the podcast. So that's, we're just trying to do this for everybody. It helps the league go all year. It helps put the league out there. If you don't want to do it, like we said, it's not mandatory. We do hope that you do at least give it a shot. Like we were saying in the chat, give it a shot. If you don't want to do it, then okay, you can stop doing it. But
Yeah, and it like what he's saying, and also we do reward you a little bit because once we get a full year of doing this calculation for the team drafts, I think next year is going to be a little more fluid. it'll make a little more sense than it might this year. Just because this year we only went off of the 4.5 seasons that we did in the original combo. We didn't calculate anything else from what happened after that ended. Any other league we did.
Yeah.
And also those new users who weren't in the original combo but were with us for later leagues, they'll actually have their chance now to get higher on the list. But leading into what I was gonna say, the Twitter will help you. So if you make the Twitter one and tweet, I mean you can miss like a week or two, but you consistently tweet, you're gonna get points that'll help bump you up. And there were a lot of ties, and you'll see that if I do release that list. There were a lot of ties in the calculations I did, and I'll explain it now since I said there were ties. But to break those ties, I just use a random generator list. So if there were two people tied at the same number, I just put those two names in and hit randomize, and I've got those all saved too, so you can see them. But I mean, like making a Twitter, that can give you the one extra point that you need to get ahead of someone who you're tied with. So, I mean, even doing stuff like that can help you a lot.
But if you are gonna do the Twitter, guys, try to keep it at least, I would say, moderately civil. Don't just go and tweet, "Oh, blew this bum out 50 something to fucking zero." You know, don't try to keep it like an actual analyst or actual person tweeting would be like, "Oh, so Russell Wilson threw for 452 yards, 4 touchdowns, and led the Seahawks to a major victory over the Niners." You know, try to keep it about your team, and try to keep it more civil. That's if you do happen to use the Twitter.
And also, another way to get up on that list is to actually talk in the chat. And that's why we're implementing a little more of a chat rule than we've had. We've actually had similar chat rules, but we haven't enforced them strictly. But now, I mean, it's okay to just go in there and send a few messages here and there, like just tag your opponent or whatever, but we actually want you to talk in the chat as much as you can. And the more you do talk, it's not like we're going to count your messages, but the more you do talk, like, we know who the main people who talk are, because we see them in the chat all the time. So, like, the more you talk, you're going to get a higher score for chat activity per season, which will also raise your points for the team selection next Madden.
Like we said, we really want this to be a year that goes all year long. So we're doing a lot more and trying to enforce some more rules. Not a lot, just a little bit, to try to help the league, help it keep active, and help keep the league going all year long. Just because we haven't had that, we usually restart because it starts dying, and we don't want that to happen this year. We actually
Yeah,
do
and
want to keep the same league.
that has been on to blame on both commissioners and people in the league. Commissioners, because we haven't done our, especially us with the podcast, we haven't done our part in consistently doing this, and this actually has lengthened the how do I say, the age of our leagues
Back in
when
when we
we
started this in
consistently do
17,
this.
it was at the end of the cycle when we started combo, and the
Yeah,
podcast actually helped it go until 18 actually dropped.
yeah, and that usually was the time where everyone stopped playing because they weren't that interested. But yeah, so we are gonna do our part this year. We're gonna stick with the podcast. We're gonna stick to our schedule. We're gonna release more of those extracurricular things that we did, like the magazine, power rankings, stuff like that. I mean, obviously we have our own lives, like we work and stuff too, so we can't do it like every week. Can't drop it. Can't drop power rankings like every week, but we're gonna do that type of stuff as much as we can.
Uh, I'm just glad to be back.
Yeah, it is. I'm pretty excited for the podcast this
I'm
year.
excited for the podcast. I'm excited for everybody who's joined in and is going to give this a shot, help us out. You know, we do thank all of y'all being either OGs or brand new. Y'all being here to be in our chat, which is blowing up right now. Y'all are blowing up the chat, but y'all are awesome. Y'all are the reason we do want to bring this back. Oh my
All right,
lord.
so I'd say we've done enough talking for the first part of this. Let's get into the second, well, not really the second half, but I guess you can say the second half
Y'all
of
don't
the
got
team selection
time. I
order.
do. Sorry, Dalvin. It's just gonna be us. I do thank you. Do thank you for
We,
bringing the chat, man.
well, we actually, we're gonna be the main two people like doing that type, the podcast and that type of stuff. But we will have podcasts where we'll bring guests on. We'll have opportunities for people to come on, and it doesn't even have to. I mean, we'll mostly talk about Combo League, but we can also talk about real life or real football and how it goes into Combo League and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, we might do some different, maybe here and there, different series where it's not even a podcast, but it might be just a thing where we talk to people in the league and ask questions and everything else, and just sit down and talk. So don't y'all worry. There might be some more stuff that gets y'all involved. Like we said, we really do want to have everybody in the league involved in some way.
Yeah,
All right.
and actually, looking at Caleb reminded me with talking about good internet. The we also will be rewarding people who stream a lot. So like, I think we set it at 10 games per season. So if you stream a minimum of 10 games per season, you'll also get additional points to go towards the team selection order for next Madden.
Yeah.
But for those of you people who don't have that good internet and can't always stream, when your opponent streams, that also does count towards you, which is a good thing. Because I know with certain people and their internet, especially with me, like one week I can stream with no lag at all, and then the next week I can't even play normally without lag. So it just all depends. So
Yeah.
like that is a good thing that if your opponent stream, it does count towards you. But all right, let's get on with this list. I think we ended with Jay Clark here. Obviously, you guys can see the whole order, so the rest isn't a surprise to you, but we'll still go through, just talk a little bit about it.
Yeah.
So, next up, 16 here, we got Lil Vic. Lil Vic's another person who's been with us for quite a while. I remember there was one Madden where he was pretty good. He made the playoffs and he was kind of hard to beat. But this last Madden, he was in a hard division. He had the Falcons. He was in the division with Get Your Game Up, the number one pick, and with Nick Burke, who unfortunately isn't with us now, and Prophet, who was also pretty good. So that did put him down a little
That
bit.
was a pretty tough division right there.
Yeah. Um, he's another one who, like his chat, he didn't talk as much in the chat, so that did hurt him a little bit. Um, but going forward, there's always room to improve that.
Oh yeah.
Next on the list is number 17, your boy. He's another one who's obviously been with us since the beginning. He's fallen off recently because he's been, I guess, playing more 2K, but so that's why he's a little lower. He hasn't been as good. He hasn't talked in the chat as probably as much as he should be, so that is why he's a little lower. And then number 18, we call him Boss Celtics, but that's because that's what his name is on GroupMe. I actually don't know what his real name is, but we'll have to find that out soon so we can actually call him by his name, or PSN at least.
Yeah.
But
If you want your
he
real
was with
name,
us.
if you do want your real name talked about, you can DM us y'all's real name, and we'll put y'all's names together. Actually use your real name if you want that. If you don't want us just using your PlayStation name.
Yeah. So I remember he was. I want to say he was the Bears in the beginning of this, man. He
Oh
wasn't there
yeah.
the whole league. I think he was only there for like 2 or 3 seasons. Um, but I remember he was a pretty decent user.
Oh yeah.
And then next on the list here, we got Michael at number 19. He was in combo for a short time this year. I mean, some of us know him from other leagues and through other people, but he wasn't really in combo that long, but he was in it enough to actually make the list to be ranked in that equation. So we didn't get a whole lot on him because, like I said, some of us know him through other leagues and stuff. But I remember he was the Colts, but I don't think when he was in combo, I don't really think he did a lot.
Hopefully this year, since he's gonna be with us in the beginning, he sticks with us. Hoping
Yeah.
everybody sticks with us this year. Not
Yeah,
having
it
to
would be
replace
exciting
somebody.
to see like the same. If you compare this list to next year's list, it would be
See the
nice to
same
see like
people.
the same names.
Yeah.
All right, so next on the list is R. Thorpe. R.
Arthur.
Thorpe is another one. He's been with us a long time. He wasn't really in the original combo too much this year. He was in our later leagues, but I don't remember why. But he just wasn't in the original combo that long. I think he joined a little late, and then he just didn't make it to the end. But he's always been a pretty at least active in the aspect that he played his games. We don't really hear from him a lot in the chat, which is it's not a big thing, but we are gonna push people to talk more in the chat.
He's
So
gonna burn
hopefully
one down. Instead
yeah, really. So hopefully we hear from some of these guys more. But so the last one on our list here, who's actually in the calculation or for the team selection order from the original combo, is Bang Benji. He's another one who's been with us the whole time that we've ever had combo league. Really, he's one of the most loyal ones. Another one who doesn't talk a whole lot. He doesn't win a whole lot, but he
he's
plays every game.
loyal.
I don't think he's ever quit a game once, which I say it like it's like I say it like that. It's a bad like it's not a like it's obviously it's not a good thing to quit games, but like with the lower users like that, he was a really great user. He was in there from the beginning. He doesn't talk a lot in the chat, but he's been with us a long time. He's another one who I think he's actually played well. Like he's come close to beating a lot of good people. He just hadn't done it.
gotten over that hump. It's like he's
Yeah.
right there, and all he has to do is push it over the hill, his bike over the hill, and he's right there. I can't wait to see what he actually does in this upcoming match and see where he goes from there. I'm hoping a lot of these, a lot of the, us average ones, switch around, change the whole landscape of how this list is for next year.
Yeah. So going here on out, the remainder of the list was randomized because these people were not in the original combo league. Some of them actually weren't in any of our leagues. We let a few people in who were not in any of our leagues this Madden.
But they are now.
Yeah. Some of these guys were in the restart of combo league, and they were in the fantasy draft league. So you'll recognize some of these people. So first of the randomized, we've got King Ward at number 22. Some of you might remember him. He was in, I want to say it was the Fantasy Draft League, and he was a pretty good user, but we parted ways for a little bit because of something that happened, but we moved past it. He's a pretty good user, and I'm actually pretty excited for him to be in this league now. I'd like to see what he can do. Because he talked a lot, like those guys who are good, but they talk like a lot, like so you think they're going to be really good. He's one of those guys, but he's been able to back his word up. So let's see if he can actually do it in the main league. Next on the list is Cash Out, which can't really say much because I think this is one of the guys who we added in. He's friends with KO, but I don't think he's ever been in one of our leagues. But KO talks about him highly, so we'll see what happens.
Hoping for the best.
Next is Randy. I want to say you say it Malaris. He was in a few of our leagues after the original combo. Was another one who's actually a pretty good user. He had a scheme that not a lot of people ran on defense, and it was actually pretty interesting because he was able to box the run up pretty well, and that's hard to say this year. But he is kind of lower on the list because he wasn't in our original combo. But with the way he plays, I still expect him to be one of the above average users in this league, even having a pick 24. All right, with pick 25, we got Frederick Jackson. Um, if you guys remember, he was the Browns in the fantasy draft league. He had Jim Brown as his
Legend.
legend that he picked. We all picked one legend, most of you know, but not all of you. We all picked one legend, and he picked Jim Brown. And I remember his name being Brown ran by, or was it Browns ran by Brown or something like
Yeah.
that. He was another one where he was another like I guess you can call him above average user where he beat a lot of good people, but wasn't really like in the running for the Super Bowl. Was just another one of those guys that make the playoffs at least from the short time that we've known him. He's another one who I expect to be like a wild card to like a floor of like a wild card guy to a ceiling of potentially making a Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
All right, the next one, I know him from somewhere, but I can't remember where. It's Bryce Suave, Montana. I want to say he was in KO's league. I know KO knows him. I want to say he was in the league that KO did. But I've heard that he's good. Like I said, I personally don't know him. Or I mean, I know him from somewhere, but not enough that I like really remember him. Um, Next on the list here, 27, Mark. It's listed as Mark Baker. A lot of you will probably know him as Mark Bob. He's a Ravens fan. He's the guy who seemed to always have the Ravens, always have Lamar Jackson. He was another. He was a pretty good one
Yeah,
too.
pretty good user, from what I remember. Mm. Oh,
Yeah, but and he's actually had been with us since I think of the restart of combo, so he just missed out on potentially getting on the actual um, list of people who had been in the original combo league. And then same with Day Day here, next at number 28. He joined after the original combo, so he didn't get in early enough to make the regular list. But he was another above average user. He had I want to say he had the Cardinals, and I remember him being a pretty good passer, which is I think it's actually a pretty good compliment this last Madden with how good the running was and how much everyone run. To say you were a good passer in this last Madden, I think is a pretty good compliment.
yeah.
Next on the list here, number 29. Um, I really don't know him. I know he's another one of KO's guys, but I don't know him, so I can't really say much. And same here
It's
with number 30,
it's your
Jay
boy
Pittman.
Jay Pittman.
Yeah. But the last two people on this list here, Tay Williams at number 31 and GKB at number 32. I know from this Madden and past Maddens, Tay Williams was not in the original combo. He was in Combo League last year, I want to say.
Mm,
I can't remember.
I think so. I think I remember that name. In you're talking about 19, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. But that is the list. That's where everybody's sitting. Like I said, I don't really. Yeah, you might not get the super teams if you're not top 10, but I feel like every team has some pretty good talent surrounding it. That even if you're in the middle or even in the late the last picks, you can get a pretty good team that has some young talent that you can build around. That you have to change a few pieces and make a Super
Yeah.
Bowl run.
Yeah, I mean, obviously for those guys, like we've said, who were not in the original combo, to have a later pick, it does kind of suck. But honestly, even if you're stuck with who, who's even the last teams this year, I guess you can say maybe the Lions. But see, even there, I feel like they have good pieces. Having a good draft, having a Okuda superstar
Yeah.
corner. Um, God, I don't know why the running back slips in my mind now. The running back they drafted. I don't know why I can't think of
Swift.
his name. Yeah, DeAndre Swift.
Yeah, DeAndre Swift. You
Um,
got Kenny Galladay. You
yeah,
know,
who I believe is on Superstar this year.
even Stafford, his attributes are, even though his overall is low, his attributes. Yeah, you're not going to get him to a 99, but you can do something with him for a
Which
year or
actually,
two.
if you had a crazy year with him, you could get him up to mid to high 90s.
Maybe.
But I'd be like Caleb just said in the chat, like every team has good pieces this year. There's no team that you look at and is like, shit, I hope I don't get stuck with them. I mean, maybe in your personal opinion, you don't want to get stuck with a certain team, but
Yeah,
every low team still has pieces. Like, even if you look at the Jets, who just traded away their best player, Jamal Adams,
they got picks.
they've got 2 first-round picks for the first two
And,
years of the league, which,
you got a third. And you got a safety back.
yeah,
You can still
still
do
have
some
got
stuff with.
some young players to build around. They've got, and honestly, with the picks this year, I know this last Madden,
The
picks were
drafting
not
was
all
kind
that
of, yeah.
valuable because the draft class wasn't that good. And I mean, I guess everyone's assuming that it's going to be the same this year, but we really don't know yet. Like they could actually put in a better quality draft class than they had
Yeah.
this last Madden.
But thank you guys. It was a blast being back. It was a blast talking to y'all again. Everybody who came out and supported it. If you haven't yet, I know this is kind of bad, but like the podcast for us. Hit that subscribe button so y'all know when we're back up. If you're not already, it's great being back. It's great talking to a lot of y'all that wanted to talk in chat.
Yeah. Before we do leave, I do want to say just a few more things. Um, I'll announce this in chat too, so the people who are still watching, you can hear it now, but I will still announce in the chat. There will be a limit for picks.
Oh yeah,
There will be if we're I believe we're gonna do a 5 minute limit here. So I'm gonna try and get everyone now that everyone knows their picks, or at least the people who actually pay attention will know their picks. So yeah. So I'm gonna have everyone send me like a top 3 to 5 of what your choices would be at your pick, just in case if for whatever reason you're too busy, or since we are starting at 8 Eastern and it's a Monday night, if it gets too late and you have to work the next day, can't stay up or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna have everyone send me like their top 5, but don't give me like if your pick 25, don't give me like the top 5 teams in the league because obviously you're not. I'm sorry to say, but you're not gonna get one of those teams. Like try and give me a list that's relevant to where your pick is. So I'll try. We'll go from there. I'll explain it more in the chat. So don't worry about it too much right now. Maybe start thinking about who you want for where you're at. But and then I do also want to say on Monday when we pick teams, we're going to go live. It might not be an official podcast, but we're going to go live, watch everyone pick, discuss um, what we think of those picks, maybe give predictions, talk about how the divisions are going to look because it is interesting. We got a lot of good people who are late that could join other really good users who were in the top, like 5 to 10 picks, and make those divisions really hard.
oh
So we're
yeah.
gonna have a lot of stuff to talk about on Monday. It will be a long podcast or a long live stream because we're gonna probably be live the whole entire time. So, if you're doing something else and you want to just listen in, feel free to do so. We'll be here live Monday night.
We'll be live. We'll be talking. If you're not busy, talk with us. If you are, you get to hear our predictions and what we think of everybody's picks. Not too bad. Like I said, guys, glad to be back. Glad to see everybody coming back with us. Glad to see a lot of new users. Hopefully, everybody sticks with us for the entire year. It'd be really cool, like we said, to see next year's list with this year's list, and see where everybody's at from there.
Yep.
But of course,
Oh,
as always, I am Avengers. Alongside me is our great and powerful Lima.
thanks for tuning in, guys. Come catch us Monday night. Can't wait.
All right, peace out.